Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And today we're going to make some sci-fi wrecked hover car junkyard scatter. In my campaign I'm running, in the future, scrapping is a major part of the world. There are two types of metal left. There are no true ores left in the world. There's scrum, which is like the lowest quality of whatever we can melt down to make metal out of, and there's brum, which has got a predominantly higher iron or steel concentration. And the society is heavily built on recovering these metals and reusing them. And my party got to go up to the surface city where the rich people live, because they live in like encampments that are built hanging in quadrants underneath of that city, like on stilts, pretty much like reverse stilts. And this is a cutting knife. That blade probably has been there for months, and I've not been down here, so. But anyways, they get to the surface, and they're down there trying to get like a backpack full of metal per go, and there's just cars scrapped and just sitting in piles everywhere in these junkyards. Cars, buses, whatever, you know. So I cut off like a rough edge so I didn't have like a perfectly square edge there, and then I'm just going to kind of get a sharper piece of blade. I'm just going to score those a little bit, just so they're a little roughed and a little more natural laying on the tabletop. All this is like game board. If you buy any of those D&D games for the miniatures or any of those kind of games like that, this stuff comes in them. This is from Massive Darkness, maybe? Or whatever that Western one. Zombicide, the Western Zombicide. But it's essentially the same cardboard that you get from game board. So if you have old checkerboards and stuff from Goodwill or anything, that'll work just as good. All right, so I have a nice piece here. Now this is a foam block that came in like one of those kids building sets, and I'm going to try to just cut some squares out of that, or some rectangles out of that, to use as kind of the basis for wrecked cars, like the basic shape of a crunch car. So I'm just gonna cut through that a few times. This stack's only gonna have, I think, 3 cars on it. I don't know what the measurements of this are, and you could use any little boxes or any kind of things you have that are roughly the shape you want. And I'm just gonna cut these to be a little abnormal. You're not really gonna see a lot of that basic shape, I'm guessing, anyways, if it goes to plan. Something like that. And you can save those pieces for scrap garbage if you want. This kind of foam is really good to add texture and weird things and fill stuff out, so saving those is a good idea. So what I want to do is I want to make my cars, and the main sacrificial lamb for this is going to be this cardboard here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cereal box, and I'm going to smush it up and crunch it and smash it and get it all junkied. Give it a lot of texture and mush. Okay, and then that's going to give some natural texture to this. And then I'm going to get the piece that I'm going to use as my base piece. Paint will stick to this side better. So I'm going to smooth that out some. I'm going to get some hot glue. Pretty liberal amount. I'm going to smash that down on there like that. Okay. And then I'm going to glue the sides one by one, getting a good kind of form. I'm going to get some scissors, cut off of the obvious excess. Then I kind of cut up to those corners a little bit. And this is just going to make wrapping it around a little easier. Okay. I'm going to get this here. Fold that up underneath. Hold that for a second while I grab more glue. Okay, then I'm just going to get some more here. I'm going to fold that up over just like that. I'm going to hold this down and let it cool, so I don't burn myself mostly. Okay, that's looking like it's going to do what I need. And I'm just going to tuck this crap up under, this crap over, and push that in. Okay, let that cool, get it into a good mush shape, and that's going to do what I need it to for the most part. Okay, now just going to get that in there. Oh, come on, did I turn it off? Turned off my glue gun. Of course I did. Okay, I'm going to shove that, get those pieces up in there, just like that. And I'm going to shove that in too and hold that for a minute. Let that kind of hold. I'm going to snip off this excess crap, like that. And if it's sticking up a little bit off the ground, that's okay. And then I'm just going to kind of mash it up a bit more. I'm going to toss it on my base. Kind of an angle. There's my first crash car. I'm going to get my second one. I'm going to do something similar. And now that I kind of know what I'm going for, this will be easier to do too. My glue gun's not heated up all the way yet from when I turned it off, so we're having an unfortunate situation there with that. Okay, something like that. We can cut off some of the obvious excess. When I say obvious excess, you know it's going to be way more than what folds over. I'm going to snip those corners in like I did on the other part. Just so everything's easier to work with. That's all. That's all. Just to make life a little easier on myself. I'm going to get this here. Throw a little bit of that gunk there. Okay. Snip that off. Okay. A little bit of glue on there. Okay. Figure out what's going on with my hot glue stick here. Why it's not going in. Oh, now it's going in too much. Shit. All right. Okay. Now we want to kind of get this on here to where it's all going to stick the way I want it to. So I'm just going to use some pretty hefty globs of glue around where those seams are. like that. Need a little more maybe. I'm gonna hold that down with some serious pressure while my gun's heating up here again. I don't know if my gun died over the months of me not making videos. I don't think I left it on at any point, so let's hope that's not the case. All right, cool. Let's get this up on here, smash it up the best we can. Get that up on there like that. Clean this side up too. Oops. Only burnt myself a little bit, no problem. Okay. And one last piece of car. Just make sure we mush this up more than the second one. The first one, how much I mushed it up was a good amount because it was more flexible and I could play with it. The second one I didn't mush up much and it was harder to work with. Okay, good. Oops, that's not what you want to do. Okay. Oh, you bastard, do what I want. There we go, come on. And when your glue gun's just not gluing. Okay. Let me see, I have other glue guns somewhere, but I had that one I gave away because I hated it. That was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. I have a really cheap, like, $5 Below one or something somewhere too. I don't know where that is. Man, that sucks. Sucks, sucks, sucks. All right, then we have obvious excess. Do some corner cutting. So I have a lot of obvious excess on this one that I didn't take care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some glue in there the best I can. Try to mush that up so it'll be underneath somewhat. And I don't care if it's perfect. Okay, and we'll just kind of fold that over some. Can't see what I'm doing. I'm just getting a crease in there so it sticks a little better. Sticking that side down the best I can. I'm going to just fold this side over too. Now, there are no wheels on flying cars in my world. They just can't fly. They can't roll on the ground. All they can do is fly. Yeah, I know. Terrible, right? Okay, so let's get a blowtorch. Get rid of spider webs. All right, so we want some like crushed cars that have been cubed maybe. So maybe switch to something like this. And just get yourself kind of a rough square. Something like this. Okay, then you need some texture on this. And you can use like the standard tinfoil balls like you use for a stone probably. Something like that. You could get extra fancy if you wanted to. And you could put some kind of banding on that. Just to give it like a little bit extra detail, you know. So what I think for the banding I would do is I would just get a piece of this crap, throw some hot glue on there like that, set it on there. Then I would just kind of come down the edge here a little bit, pull that along, stick it on there like that. Do the same thing on this side, just get a little bit of banding or glue, pull it down, put it on like that. Then I would just cut off this down here where it impacts with the base. Then maybe put another band on here if you wanted. Something like that. Snip off your crap, boo, 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 like that. That's a little fancier, you know. Get a little crap down here, hold that in place, find a spot for it, put one there. Let's make another one over here. Let's cut this off. I don't think I want to do one on that one just because I don't feel like it. And shove that on there. And this is also going to be how people climb on these piles, if you were wondering why I'm doing that. And let's make a smaller cube. Not much bigger than a fella could stand on. Throw that on there like that. Okay. Hit that with a little bit of heat. And then let's put some panels on some of this top car piece here, and maybe some on the side pieces to show that these cars have been repaired and worked on over time. repair here real quick. Something like that. And that's just going to tighten up those corners and make them a little sturdier. We're just going to fix this front piece up so it's a little sturdier too. All right, now we just need to add some texture to the base in some spots, and to do that, all I'm going to do is cut a couple little pieces like this, shove them down on there irregularly so the base has some ideal, or has some thought. And I'm just going to rip this piece, get a little bit of that glue, stick it on there. I'm just going to shove that around a little bit. And that's going to give me the illusion that this has been around for a while and it's been abused and not kept. This ground is just part of the junkyard. And I could take a couple little pieces of foam, throw some of that on there too. Okay. Just like that. Nothing overly fancy, just functional and fun. Okay. Then the next thing you'd want to do, I assume, is just add some random textures. To be scratches and dents that are pieces where repairs have been welded, whatever you want it to look like. Just extra stuff to make them, when you're dry brushing later on, that there's some cool details around. Okay, just little stuff, nothing super important. Maybe sturdy up some of these weird overlaps, throw some glue in those holes. Okay. Then you need something to put on here for like circles or whatever it may be. So let me check what I have laying around. I don't know where I put them. I had some little circles I bought, but that's okay. We're just going to dig into my big bead box and find something. Here we go. There's some kind of that thing. And there's a square one. Okay, that's cool. Add some texture to this and make it kind of interesting. This can look like it was a light of some sort, maybe. We'll put it right there like that. And this thing is smashed up. We'll put one up here. Just like that. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to put this here like that. Okay. Now once you're pretty happy with how that looks, go on and paint it. So what I would do to make life easy is I would put it on a paint base. I would hit it one more time with hot glue. Or not hot glue, I'm sorry. Blowtorch or lighter or whatever. Get rid of my spider webs. Okay. You got a nice climbable pile here. Miniatures can kind of stand on top haphazardly. If you're wondering, that was what I was kind of going for. They could stand on these blocks. Oops. If you don't throw them. I think what I want to do on that block there is I want to put a piece of cardstock, like a square cardstock on there, to make it a little bigger. Like this. Okay. And then I'm going to get some granny grating. Do I have granny grating? Yeah, I got granny grating. I probably have some that's already cut too, but that's okay. Throw a little granny grating on that bad boy, like this. Just to add extra kind of texture to look at, make it a little more interesting. Let's smooth that out a little bit. There we go. Get some granny grating on there, just like that. And you know, we'll just get a little bit more of that and cut a couple odd shapes to decorate with. Put it on the side of that box there. And somewhere else. There's kind of a dip right here. We'll shove it on that. Okay, just like that, kids. Hot glue, or hot gun. All right, let's mix something up. Make some Mod Podge and water. So get some dirty paint water. Right there like that. Get some Mod Podge if you have it. Wow, my Mod Podge is like empty. Oh, and I can't open it because I'm weak. Okay, can't get mine open. Let's see, get a piece of cardboard and get in here and get this thing off. How did this happen? Some Mod Podge, and then we'll put some paint in there. Throw some black. And we'll throw some brown. And this is just Dollar Tree acrylics, nothing fancy. Okay? Get a big brush that gets good coverage. I'm going to use this makeup brush. I'm going to mix this up pretty well. Like that. Just like that. And then we're going to paint this thing haphazardly. And then we'll come back later, give it a real nice paint job after this dries. But you got to use the Mod Podge mix here to make sure that you, if you do any spray painting or whatever, that you don't melt it, because the acetone in the spray paint that is used to keep it in solution and make it not get chunky will actually melt your foam. For those of you that have been crafting, you know that. You've learned it from 100 other channels. For those of you that are new, keep that in mind. It's useful knowledge. Now, I don't care if some of my foam gets melted. In the long run, it'll just make this piece more interesting. But depending on what you're using as your materials, that might be an issue for you, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that's pretty much covered, as good as it needs to be covered, in my opinion, because I'm going to hit it with a black or a brown or a gray or something with spray afterwards. When I come back, you'll see my pile of cars will be dry and ready to paint. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all that happy crappy. If you're into getting miniatures, we have a subscription service and we have an eBay. Check us out. I'll have a link in the description probably. If not, you can always message us. I'm not sure how we're doing our business anymore. But it's dungeonswag.com, and you can search us up. We're the guys that sell really nice miniatures for a really good price. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And until then, whatever the hell, I forget what I used to say. Thanks for coming back and trying me again. Yum.